let's start off with talking about NFL, the NFL training camp. This past Friday, the NFL and the NFLPA agreed on safety protocols to basically get the NFL started again. As I've been talking about on my past couple episodes, I've been talking about now for the NFL. Now it's time. Now it's time for you guys to step up to the plate. You guys, it's time to step up to the plate. You guys ended February, I believe it was February 7th. You guys ended. You guys, the pandemic basically officially started mid March, so about March 10th. So you guys had from March 10th to now. No, you guys got rid of OTAs, which is really, it's more for the incoming freshmen, you should say, the rookies. And then you guys got rid of mandatory and voluntary mini camps, which is basically, once again, for the rookies. So now it's training camp. You guys need training camp. Training camp is important for everybody to get on the same page, to basically like gel, build the chemistry that you need for a long, grueling, now 17-game season. We're gonna find out how this is gonna work. So basically, this past Friday, like I said, they talked and then they announced that they had an agreement of how training camp and basically the lead up to the season is gonna act as. So basically, in years past, you come in, you report to training camp. I believe training camp officially started on Friday. I can't really tell you guys off the top of my head who were the first two teams to report to training camp. I believe it was the Colts, and I can't think of the other team, but I know the Colts for sure came on Friday. So usually on Friday, you get your locker room, or not locker room, your locker. You get all your equipment for camp. You get your helmet fitted. You get your pads fitted, and then you go to the training. You go to the trainers, and then you get your physical to see if you are fit to perform, to compete at training camp. And after that, you guys usually at the end of the day, you guys take your conditioning test, right? That's the regular normal training camp protocols for everybody, I believe. No matter what, I believe from high school on up, you have that. You get fitted for your helmet, you get fitted for your pads. You also get your physical for the most part, and then after that, you guys take your conditioning test. Well, for now, the first day is technically a 3-day process. So basically, you need to pass 3 COVID testing to basically be admitted to the building, to the training facility. 3 COVID testings to get to the starting line, which is funny. Then they said for day 5 and 6, players who haven't passed all 3 of those testings, they themselves get to go into the facilities and get fitted for helmets and shoulder pads and other equipment, which is kind of peculiar to me, because how does the other like staffers in the building, how do they feel about that? That's what I want to know first. That's off the jump. I want to know that. How do they feel about that? Is that 100% fair to them? I don't know. Maybe, I guess, since they'll be there the whole time too as well, I guess it helps. I really don't know. So it's not until day 7. So basically, whenever your training camp started, so today is July 30th, right? July 30th. So 7 days, I believe that's about August 5th. So next week will be August 5th. Next Thursday will be August 5th. You will start after you pass all your COVID testing and everything, all three COVID testing. You will begin your strength and conditioning training for the NFL, for the training camp season, you should say. And it's not until August 17th August 17th, teams are allowed to practice in full pads. But remind you, they only have 14 padded practices. So you basically miss about 2 weeks of camp. And then practically now you have to like squeeze in padded practice and make sure that injuries aren't going to happen, which I'm going to get to in a few. The next thing about the agreement that happened is now teams could have up to 80 players at the start of camp. That is to make I believe the grouping easier for coaches and other staffers. And then you guys, I think you still have to cut it down to 55 or 56. I believe is now the roster limit by week 1, regardless. So you have 80, and then you have to cut it down to 55 or 56. But the biggest thing, and I guess it's bad. It's good. It's good in a way where it's good in the sense of because of this pandemic, like the safety wise, it's good. But for competition wise and people like on the edge, really on the edge that got signed in the supplemental draft, or a 6th, 7th round pick, or a guy that's literally on his last team trying to make it in the league again, it's terrible because there's no more preseason. And preseason, going up against other competition, you should say, and basically duking it out and showing and putting your building your resume, basically. Because in football, in all sports, your resume is your film. If your film is lying to you, the film is basically your lawyer. The film tells other teams, even your own team, hey, this guy is good. This guy has some potential. This guy can make a difference on my team. This guy can be a starter week 1. This guy can be part of the rotation. But now it's going to be that much difficult for that. So also, another thing that is very important that the players wanted to know about was the salary cap. So the salary cap is only down about $20 million. It is at $175 million. And this is the caveat. The NFL just has to make it to week 1 and play. And if a cancellation happens or whatever, they said that players are going to get paid by the games that they play. But the players have to make it. The NFL league has to make it to week 1. So I believe week 1 starts September 7th, September 10th. You guys, they have to make it to week 1, and then they get all their benefits. They get all the word was accrued pay for the season, basically. So I guess that's a little incentive on, hey, make sure that you guys are protected. Don't go out. This is camp. Mind you, this is camp. So a lot of people are talking about the football season the football league has to be in a bubble. During training camp, players are in a bubble. Like, this is camp. Like, they can't go back home. They can't leave or whatever. They are in, like, on facility grounds. That's why teams like the Packers, the Steelers, the Cowboys, they go to different areas for their camp. Packers in St. Norbert College, up in Appleton, maybe, I forget. I was playing the team, I don't remember. You had the Steelers going in another college, area. You have the Cowboys going, I think it's Frisco, California, I believe it is. Regardless, those 3 teams are in different places. So the players who have settled down in those places are not going to be by their family up until they have like a day off, which the NFL has made it mandatory that the day off has to be August 8th. So they're in the bubble for now. So you guys just need to be careful. You guys just need to be safe, and then you guys will get your salary for the year and all the benefits. And then lastly, they put this option in, which is players have the option to opt out before the season starts. And by doing that, they will receive a stipend. They will have a stipend. We have seen multiple players in the past, not even 24 hours, maybe past 18 hours. Marquise Goodwin, Nate Solder of the New York Giants, Marquise Goodwin of the Philadelphia Eagles. We just heard that Damian Williams of the Chiefs has opted out. About 6 players from the New England Patriots. One of those players being Patrick Chung, Dante Hightower. Players of that caliber are gone. They don't want to play for the season. A lot of them are choosing family over football, which is by far more important. Family is always more important than football. And they're doing the right thing for that. I respect them for that. But now that brings me back to what I was mentioning earlier. I do not think COVID, the coronavirus, will be the main, I guess you could say, downfall of the NFL this season. Do I think the NFL will go through with their season? I really, in my heart of hearts, I really believe they have a great understanding, great background, and I believe they could make it to December. Playoff time, I don't know. Hopefully everything settles down at that time, and hopefully fans can come back. But I believe the NFL will make it to December. However, the biggest thing that I'm not concerned about the COVID. What I am concerned about is injuries. We have seen, most recently back during the lockout of 2010, 2011, so the 2011 season. No training camp. No OTAs, no mini camps, no voluntary or mandatory. All those pre-workouts before training camp. None of that happened. And then you had mini camp, training camp, I should say. And if people were tearing their ACL, people were having a lot of tissue injuries, tissue and ligament injuries. You haven't had mini camps, haven't had no type of OTAs. You're going to be two weeks late on a regular training camp, trying to bring in as much, I guess, terminology to get everybody together. And then also, football is a violent game. Football is a game it is still a gladiator game. So there are, and these men that have been working their whole lives to become the best 256 one of the best 256 players in football in the world are going to go at it. They are going to go at it. So injuries, unfortunately, will happen. Maybe a lot will happen during training camp. I see that. I won't be shocked. But I see more throughout the season. Maybe the first month of the season when when they say that you could actually play against other opponents, which I guess that's good for teams like the Giants and the Jets, the Raiders, not the Raiders, the Rams and the Chargers. Teams that are in close proximity of each other, that's good for them. However, that week 1, September 10th, that week 1, is going to be the real first time, let's say a quarterback gets real reps. What happened, usually in practice, the number 1 rule is don't touch the quarterback. Now what happens if week 1 you have Tyrod Taylor, for example, which I also want to add that Anthony Lynn is right on the money to say that Tyrod Taylor is the week 1 starter, because Justin Herbert cannot stimulate the reps that he needs to have to be a day 1 starter. And then the hits, bro. That's your future. However, so say someone like Tyrod Taylor, he in practice, he'll check, nothing's open, he'll run up. Nobody touches him. But let's say real football, man, week 1, I don't know who the Chargers are playing off the top of my head, but week 1, he checks, he runs, doesn't his instincts doesn't tell him to slide or whatever, and then a guy, bang, pops him and he's out for a couple weeks. It's unfortunate, but it is the harsh reality of what's about to go on. Amen. Is what it is.